Let's begin.
Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome back to the studio. It is so wonderful to have you here with us for another deep dive episode of Podcast by MrB.
Hello, Mr. B, and hello to our incredible global classroom. I am feeling so energized today. I've been reading the comments from our last video, and our students are doing so well. It makes me so happy to see everyone practicing their English.
They really are. It makes me so proud. You look very happy today, Anna. Did you have a good morning?
I did. I had a great breakfast, and the sun is shining. But I have to tell you, I actually had a very funny, awkward moment on my way into the studio today. It made me think of our topic for today immediately.
Oh, really? I love a good story. Tell me what happened.
Well, I was in the elevator, and a coworker I recognize but don't know very well walked in. We just stood there. I looked at the floor, he looked at the ceiling. I even checked my phone even though I had no signal. It was so quiet. I wanted to say something friendly, but my mind just went blank.
The famous elevator silence. I think everyone listening right now is nodding their head because they have felt that exact same thing. It feels like the elevator is moving in slow motion, doesn't it?
Exactly. It feels like a 10-minute journey just to go up 3 floors. I think many of our friends feel the same way at their jobs, in the kitchen, at the printer, or walking down the hallway. We want to be professional and friendly, but we're afraid of starting a conversation and then not knowing how to continue.
That is a very common fear. Small talk can feel like a big mountain to climb when English isn't your first language. But that is why today's episode is a special deep dive. Today, we are going to master how to handle small talk in the office.
I am so ready for this. I don't want to stare at elevator ceilings anymore.
Good. We are going to make it very simple and practical. No boring grammar rules today. Instead, we're going to learn a system to start a conversation, keep it moving with hooks, and how to end it politely so you can get back to work.
That's a great goal. I love having a plan.
It truly does help. And hey, before we dive into our first big secret, if you're enjoying these lessons and they are helping you feel more confident, don't forget to like this episode and subscribe to Podcast by MrB.
Yes, it really helps our channel grow, and we love seeing new faces in our community. And if you have a friend who is also practicing their English, share this with them. Let's grow together.
Exactly. Got it. Okay, Anna, let's solve that elevator problem. To make this easy for everyone to remember, we're going to use the 3-step office chat plan.
The 3-step office chat plan. Okay, I've got my notebook ready. What is step 1?
Step 1 is the safe starter.
The safe starter. That sounds like I need to be careful.
In a way, yes. Safe means we choose topics that are easy, positive, and don't cause any stress. In an office, you never want to start a chat about salary, politics, or deep personal problems. Those are danger zones.
Right. I shouldn't ask, so did you hear the boss is angry today? As a starter.
Definitely not. That's a very fast way to get into trouble. For step 1, we stay with the big 3 safe topics: the weather, the weekend, or the workday.
The weather, the weekend, or the workday. Simple and clear.
Let's look at the weather. It sounds like a cliché, but native speakers use it constantly because it's a shared experience. If it's raining, you both know it's raining. You can say, "It's really pouring out there, isn't it?"
It's really pouring out there, isn't it? Ooh, I like pouring. It sounds more natural than just saying raining hard.
Exactly. Or if it's a beautiful day, you can say, "I can't believe how nice it is outside today."
That's very friendly. What about the weekend?
The weekend is the king of small talk. If it is Monday or Tuesday, you ask about the past. Did you have a good weekend? Or did you do anything fun over the break?
Did you do anything fun over the break? That feels very natural. And if it's Thursday or Friday?
Then we look at the future. Do you have any big plans for the weekend? Or are you looking forward to the weekend?
I use that one a lot. Are you looking forward to the weekend? Everyone always says yes.
Exactly. It's a guaranteed positive response. And finally, the workday. This is great for the office kitchen. Just ask, how's your day going so far? Or, have you been busy today?
How is your day going so far? That's my favorite. It's so easy to say.
It is. Let's do some deep practice here. I want our listeners to really feel these phrases in their mouths. We will do a repeat after us section. Anna, you say the phrase, then we will pause for the listeners.
Ready. Let's start with the weather. Repeat after me. Can you believe this weather? It's so hot.
Perfect. Let's try a weekend one. Repeat after Anna. Did you get up to anything fun this weekend?
I love that phrase, get up to. It just means do. One more for the workday. Is it a busy Tuesday for you?
You're doing great. Those are your safe starters. They're your keys to open the door.
Okay, so I've opened the door, I asked the question, but Mr. B, this is where I usually get stuck. If I ask, how was your weekend, and they say, it was good, and then they just look at me, the silence comes back. I feel like I failed.
You haven't failed at all. That just means you need step 2. Step 2 is the +1 rule.
The +1 rule. Tell me more.
This is the secret to keeping a conversation moving without it feeling like an interview. The rule is whenever you answer a question, you give your answer plus one extra piece of information.
Ah, so I don't just give a one-word answer.
Exactly. One-word answers are conversation killers. If someone asks, "How are you?" and you say, "Fine," you have closed the door. But if you say, "I'm fine, plus I just had a really great lunch," you have opened a new door.
Oh, now the other person can talk about coffee or lunch.
Exactly. You are giving them a hook. Imagine you're fishing. The +1 is the bait on your hook. Let's try it. I will ask you a question, Anna, and I want you to give me a +1 answer. Anna, how was your morning?
It was very productive. I finally finished that big report I was working on.
Enthusiastic. Perfect. Now, as your coworker, I can say, "Oh, that's a relief. Was it difficult?" And the conversation keeps going naturally.
That makes sense. It feels like a game of catch. If I don't throw the ball back, the game stops.
Exactly. That is a great point. Let's practice some +1 answers for different situations. Listeners, we will give you the short answer and then the +1 part. Repeat the whole sentence.
Let's try a weekend answer. Repeat. It was quiet. I mostly just stayed home and watched movies.
Excellent. Let's try one about work. Repeat, I'm a bit tired. I had a very early start this morning.
Good. One more for a general how are you? Repeat. I'm doing well. I'm actually going on vacation next week.
See, that last one is a huge hook. Everyone wants to talk about vacations.
Definitely. If someone says that to me, I have 10 more questions immediately.
Exactly. You're doing great. But let's look at the other side. What if they give you a short answer? What if you ask, "How are you?" and they just say, "Good"?
Yes, that is so hard. Do I just walk away?
Not yet. If they give you a short answer, you can use a follow-up question. This is like a second +1. You can ask, "Oh, good. Any big plans for the rest of the day?" Or, "Nice. Are you working on anything interesting?"
Are you working on anything interesting? I like that. It's professional, but also curious.
It is. People love to talk about themselves and their work if you show interest. That is a good point to remember.
Mr. B, I have a question. In my textbook, everything sounds very formal, but when I hear you talk, or when I hear people in the office, it sounds softer.
That is a very clever observation, Anna. That is because native speakers use real talk contractions. This is the difference between a textbook and a real friend.
Real talk contractions. Can you give me an example?
Sure, a textbook says, "I am going to go to the kitchen," but a friend says, "I'm gonna go to the kitchen."
I'm gonna go. It sounds much smoother.
Exactly. Got it. Or instead of, "I want to finish this," we say, "I want to finish this."
I wanna finish this. Does that sound rude in the office?
Not at all. In small talk, it makes you sound relaxed and friendly. If you say, I am going to go now, you sound like a robot. If you say, I'm gonna head out now, you sound like a coworker.
Wow, I'm gonna head out now. That feels like real friend talk.
Exactly. Let's look at another one. Instead of, what are you doing, we often say, what you doing? Or just, what are you up to?
What you doing? That sounds funny.
It is. It's very casual. Use that with coworkers you know well. If it's a boss, maybe stick to, what are you up to?
Okay, so gonna, wanna, and whatcha. Let's practice these real talk versions. Listeners, repeat after us to sound more natural.
Instead of, I am going to, say, I'm gonna get some coffee.
Perfect. Instead of I want to, say I wanna finish this report.
Perfect. And instead of, what are you, say, what you working on.
You're doing great. Those small changes make a huge difference in how you sound.
They really do. It makes the conversation feel warm and human, not like a school lesson. That makes sense, right?
It really does. I feel like I'm learning the secret code of the office.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have our 3 steps and our real talk secrets. But Mr. B, eventually I need to go. My coffee is done or my floor has arrived. Sometimes I feel so awkward trying to leave that I just stand there for too long.
I have seen people do that. They just keep talking because they don't know how to stop. That is why we need step 3, the polite exit.
The polite exit. I need this one the most. How do I leave without being rude?
It's actually easier than you think. A polite exit has a very simple formula. Transition word plus reason plus good wish.
Transition word, reason, good wish. Can you give me an example?
Sure. Transition words are words like anyway or well. They signal that the conversation is ending. So you say, anyway, transition, I should get back to my desk. Reason, but it was great catching up. Good wish.
Anyway, I should get back to my desk, but it was great catching up. Oh, that is so smooth. It doesn't sound like I am running away.
Exactly. It sounds like you are a busy, professional person who enjoyed the chat. Another one for the kitchen is, well, I'll let you get back to your coffee. Reason, have a productive afternoon. Good wish.
I'll let you get back to your coffee. That is so polite. It makes it sound like I am being nice to them by leaving.
Exactly. It's a very clever way to end a chat. Let's practice some polite exits. Listeners, repeat after us.
Well, I better go. I have a meeting in 5 minutes.
Pause. Got it. Try this one. Anyway, I'll let you get on with your day. See you later.
Pause. Perfect. One more. It was nice seeing you. Have a good one.
Pause. You're doing great. Have a good one is a very common, natural way to say, have a good day.
I hear that all the time in movies. Have a good one.
Exactly. Short and clear.
So we have our 3 steps, but Mr. B, I have another problem. Sometimes when I am doing small talk, I get so nervous that I forget my English. My heart beats fast and I just freeze.
That is a very real feeling. It happens to everyone, even native speakers sometimes. So let's move into our confidence tips section.
Please, I need these.
Tip number 1. Body language is 50% of the conversation.
Really? 50%?
Yes, if you are smiling and making gentle eye contact, people will think you are a great communicator, even if your grammar isn't perfect. If you look at your shoes, you look like you don't want to talk.
That's a good point. So even if I am nervous, I should try to smile.
Exactly. A smile tells the other person, I am friendly. It makes them relax, and when they relax, you relax. Tip number 2, tone of voice. Try to make your voice go up a little bit at the end of your questions.
Like this? How was your weekend?
Perfect. If your voice goes down, it can sound a bit like a police officer asking questions. How was your weekend?
Oh no, I don't want to be a police officer in the kitchen.
Exactly. Keep it light. And tip number 3, the recovery phrase.
What is a recovery phrase?
It's what you say when you forget a word or lose your train of thought. Instead of saying, for a long time, just be honest. Say, Sorry, my brain is a bit slow today. What is the word? Or, I forgot the English word for that, but you know what I mean, right?
My brain is a bit slow today. I love that. It's so human. Everyone has days like that.
Exactly. It makes you relatable. It's a real human moment. Most people will be very kind and help you. It actually makes the small talk better because it's a shared moment of humor.
I feel much better now. It's not about being a perfect English robot. It's about being a friendly person.
Exactly. That makes sense, right? You're doing great, Anna.
I am. Okay, let's see if I can put it all together. Let's do a full role play. Imagine we're at the printer.
Okay, I'm printing 100 pages. It is taking a long time.
Safe starter. Hi, Mr. B. Busy morning for you at the printer?
Oh, tell me about it. This machine is so slow today.
+1 rule. I know, right? I had the same problem yesterday when I was printing my reports.
It's frustrating. Do you have a lot to do today?
+1 rule. Yes, I'm gonna prepare for the big presentation on Friday. I'm a little bit nervous about it, actually.
Hook? Oh, don't be nervous. You're great at presentations. Do you need any help with the slides?
That's so kind. I want to finish the first draft alone, but thank you.
No problem. Well, looks like my printing is finally done.
Polite exit. Perfect. Well, I'll let you get back to it. Have a great afternoon.
You too, Anna. See you later.
Wow, that felt so natural. I didn't feel like I was learning English. I felt like I was just talking.
That is the goal. That is exactly what we want for all our listeners. When you have a simple framework like the 3-step plan, you don't have to think about grammar. You just follow the steps.
It's like having a map in your pocket.
Exactly. A map for the office.
Okay, let's do a quick recap for everyone listening so they can write these down.
Let's do it. Step 1, the safe starter. Stick to the big 3, weather, weekend, or workday.
Step 2, the +1 rule. Always give your answer +1 extra detail. Throw the ball back.
Step 3, the polite exit. Use a transition word like anyway, give a reason, and wish them a good day.
And don't forget our real talk contractions like gonna and wanna, and our confidence tips like smiling and using recovery phrases.
Perfect. Short and clear. You've got it.
I feel so much more prepared for work tomorrow. I might even look for people to talk to in the kitchen.
That's the spirit. Small talk is a skill, and like any skill, the more you do it, the easier it gets.
You're right. Okay, everyone, it's time for our practice challenge.
We want to see you use the +1 rule right now. We're going to ask you a question in the comments.
The question is, how was your weekend?
Go to the comments and answer that question. But remember, use the +1 rule. Don't just say, it was good. Say, it was good +1 detail.
For example, it was good, I went to see a new movie, or it was busy, I spent all day gardening.
I will be reading all your comments and replying to as many as I can. This is your chance to practice in a safe place.
Yes, we are here to support you. We want you to succeed.
Exactly. Well, that is the end of today's deep dive. Thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Thank you, everyone. You're doing great. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and we will see you in the next episode.
Perfect. Until next time, have a wonderful, productive day.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.